Hey. Alright everybody, it's time to talk about Weekly Shonen Jump 2026, issue number 19. On the cover this week we have the new series called Roku's House of Oddities by Atsushi Nakamura, who, if you were unaware or missed last week, this is the mangaka for A Gravity Boys, which is a series that was pretty low-key popular as far as I'm aware. People seem to like it. It wasn't like a smash hit, but it lasted a little while, and I think people liked it for the most part. So this should be an interesting one. It's definitely somebody with experience and somebody who's probably spent the last few years honing their craft. So I think there's a lot of potential in this one. I'm looking forward to it. See how it goes. Of course, with a new series, it also means we lost one, which this time it is The Mage Next Door. We'll talk about that later. Unclear if Hero Girl and Demon Lord is also ending. They haven't really said anything. They really never say anything like the week before an Act series. Sometimes they do, but not this time. So I guess we'll find out next week or mid next week when the issue leaks. But yeah, it's the beginning of a new series wave. Let's go ahead and check out the first one. He did the Monster Mash. Roku's House of Oddities, Chapter 1, Moonlit Tales of Koku Bunji. Okay. So I'm conflicted. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of strong feelings to convey to you about this one yet. It's fine. I thought there were some funny moments. It's kind of it. That's all that stood out to me was the humor. And even then, it's not gut-bustingly funny. It has a really particular sense of humor that I kind of vibe with. I like the constant just bringing up of the fact that the dog is massive. I thought that was funny. Just a nice little reoccurring joke. And the fact that he didn't really do the rituals correctly, but they're just it's close enough. That's funny. I don't mind that. I think it's kind of endearing. They talk about Dragon Ball in a funny way, which gets the brownie points in my book. But that's kind of all I have to say. I don't know. There's nothing coming to mind when I read this. It's fine. It's just not a particularly engaging first chapter. It's this concept. Yeah, this guy exorcised or whatever, freed some curses, whatever you want to call it. And now he lives with them. And one's a dog that is sometimes drawn in a really magnificent and serious way, and other times he's this big goofy thing, which is fun. The dog is fun. I like the dog. But the other characters, I don't know, man. One's an otaku, I guess, who reads manga. One's a doll that hasn't spoken yet. There's a vampire dude, and then a guy that wears a mask. I think this is kind of a bad first chapter, in my opinion. This doesn't do enough legwork to get me on board with the concept of the series. It's just so here's this idea I had. See you next week. That's all this is. I don't know. I don't really feel hope for the future of the series. I'm not excited to see where this goes. It doesn't leave off an interesting cliffhanger. In fact, it leaves on a really cheap title drop type thing. What a house of oddities this is. That kind of sucks. I don't know, man. This just didn't really do a whole lot for me. It's okay. It's fine. But as a chapter 1, I think this is kind of a failure. Usually I have a hell of a lot more to say about chapter 1s of things because you're dropped in this new world, new characters, new story. What's it all about? What do we got to look forward to? What's the concept? But here, it takes out all that other stuff I just said and it just boils it down to what is the concept. That's it. That's all we explore here. What are we doing here? We are dealing with a kid who has 5 ghosts or spirits, whatever, living with him. That's it. Now he's got to find out what's wrong with them. What led them to become cursed spirits or whatever to begin with. I already forget the term they use to describe them. I don't think it's cursed spirits. Whatever they are. I don't know. That's pretty much all I have to say about this. I feel kind of sad that that's all I have to say about a chapter 1, but that's just the case. I will see how it goes. That's all I can do. Someone Hertz Chapter 28, I'm a Rival Too. Not a bad chapter. Thought this was cute, as per usual. That's pretty much, I say that about every single chapter, but it's true. It's a cute series. We got the reintroduction, or just bringing back into the story of Shrimp Sushi, I think is their on-air name. And it's just a character. I don't really feel any particular way about her. She just is a character that's here, and she's now saying that she wants in on the rivalry business. She's not going to lose to them. It's feeling like a proper competition now that we know some of the other people on behind the screen names that we've been seeing throughout the initial run of the series. That's cool. I like that we're kind of building more competitive backbone to the series. It'll be nice to have something like that as we go forward with the, non-romance half of the plot, with being the the Munmid listening and submitting section of it. It'll be cool to like see when other characters get points and such, now that we know who they are. And I guess, Shrimp Sushi here is probably the one we know the best as of this point in time. So now that we've had this chapter, in the future, when that happens, I can be like, oh, hey, I know her. She got a point. Look at that. That's neat. And I'm sure it'll be the same for the characters. Like, we'll probably have the characters point out, like, oh, look, that's her. She's actually putting in the work and competing with us. Just a nice little fold to add to the story, I suppose. Nothing crazy this week, but I think it's doing some good work here to establish a more solid and tangible feel of like what this competition, quote unquote, is, by seeing the people behind the screen names. So I feel like we'll slowly start to get more of these kind of chapters for the other characters, hopefully in more natural ways, because I still think it is absolutely insane that so many listeners of this show just happen to live in like the same area. That's just so crazy. Another cute chapter. Can't complain. This is a surreal title to even say, but here we go. One Piece, chapter 1179, Nerona Imu Descends. Welcome to all the people who skipped ahead to watch this segment of the video. I am sure a lot of people are curious to hear my thoughts on this. This is easily the biggest thing I have ever covered on the channel, period. Like, ever. This is the single biggest event in any manga I have talked about on the channel. Before I talk about the final page of the chapter, I do want to talk about the rest of it, because I really do think this is a fantastic chapter. It's just a whole chapter about basically building up tension, building up to this reveal. From the second I opened this chapter, obviously from the title alone, I knew we're getting the reveal. It's finally happening. And the way they lead you to the moment is just masterfully done. Seriously, the tension you feel, there's still some lighthearted moments. It's One Piece, of course there is, but to have all the lightheartedness just like come to a dead halt as soon as, the shoe drops at the end. But the stuff with Imu before he leaves the castle, I can say he now, I think. I mean, I guess we don't have an exact confirmed gender, but definitely looks masculine. I really like the small glimpses we get to see into his head, which is something we've never seen before. We get to actually hear thoughts, or I guess read thoughts from him. That's brand new. Never seen that before. And this reaffirmation of his desire for Vivi, for one reason or another. We still don't really know why. I mean, we know he has some connection to Lily, but what's Vivi's importance? I don't know. Guess we'll find out. This is just all so exciting, and to actually have him be an active role in the story now, like officially, this is the signifier. One Piece is an endgame. Like, this is it, right here. This is it. This is the moment. This is Oda telling us, here we go. After Elbaf, we're gunning for the finish line. It's going to be absolutely insane. So the design. Let's talk about the final moments. When he appears, it's such a cool reveal. We get little glimpses. He's like bringing life. It's like Big Mom's power, kind of. He's bringing life to these buildings and trees and such, like kind of making them into devils, which I think is probably a sign in one way or another. The Elder's powers come from him as well, because he's like, giving life to other things, making things into demons, and the fact that his power is simply just called the Devil's Fruit. Something like this is probably like the first devil fruit or something insane like that. I can imagine something like this having the power to bestow other powers or other devil fruit powers onto others in some capacity. And yeah, there it is. That's Imu. This is the design we've been waiting for, kind of. I do want to mention, he does transform before he gets on the roof. So we still haven't seen like the form we've been looking at the whole time, the shadowy figure with the big, hat or whatever the hell it is. I don't even know what that is supposed to be still, because we don't really see it here. So this is a form of him rather than the form we've been seeing, but I imagine this is like his combat form. This is the form we will be seeing the most, and I love it. We don't really get a full body look of it. It's a really small panel where we see like the whole shot, and he's kind of posed like sitting or like kneeling or whatever you want to call that. So we don't fully see it, but from what I can tell, I love it. It's such a cool design. It's very much Naruto. Like it's definitely giving like War Arc Naruto design, but not in a bad way. It's got the Oda twist to it as well. And the face is pretty damn cool. The horns, the eyes, it's all really, really sick. I'm far from disappointed. I think that's an awesome design. Yes, I was thinking for a very long time and kind of hoping that it would be a woman, just because I think that'd be cool. But not the case. It's a dude, I think, at least. I guess not exactly confirmed, but I mean, it's all but confirmed, really. King of the world. I don't know. It seems likely. And design and facial features are reading more masculine to me. It's actually insane that I'm sitting here talking about the reveal of Imu's design. This is something I've been fantasizing about for so long, since his reveal back in, I think it was Whole Cake, right? It was Whole Cake Island, I think, near the end, or at the end, that we got the reveal that Imu exists. Pretty sure. That sounds about right. And yeah, years and years later, here we are, seeing him in all of his glory in chapter 1179. That's just so crazy. We made it, guys. I believe it is on break next week, so this is all we're getting for now, but things are about to get insane. We're gonna get a real fight, I assume, between Luffy and him, and probably Loki. Throw him in the mix. This is going to be really interesting, because how do you do this? Because this isn't the end. Luffy isn't going to beat him here, almost assuredly. But how will he be driven away? What is going to happen here to get everybody out of this situation? There's so many possibilities. I can't even begin to wrap my head around, because like this is the final boss, basically, sort of. Blackbeard, yeah, maybe really actually the final boss for Luffy, at least. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work. Regardless, this is establishing the character to our characters, getting him to be a known presence. That's a huge deal. This is something that needed to happen sooner rather than later, and I'm happy it's happening here. Before the final arc starts, I think it's important to know who our main villain is. The coming chapters are going to be fascinating. I'm just so at a loss. I don't know what's going to happen. And that's just incredibly exciting to me. Like, truly anything could happen as a result of this. And that is just so damn exciting. I can't wait. Phenomenal chapter. Pretty much everything I could have dreamed of for this reveal. Perfect. Kagurabachi Chapter 117, The Irishima Talks. I actually like this chapter. I thought this was pretty cool. Kagurabachi has an impressive talent of just setting up fights in a really cool way, and this is no exception. I really like this framing of like, yeah, let's have a conversation. Let's talk, let's have this great meeting of the minds. And then by the end of it, it's like, yeah, all these dudes are going to kill each other here in a second. It's just really fun. I love the framing of this. And I love the narration style, like the timestamps that Hokuzono tends to do. Just ending the chapter with a little small bit of text up in the right corner saying, at 12:02, the talks dissolved due to a preemptive strike by Shokaku. Thus, the battle on Irishima began. That's so cool to me. I don't know. I just really like that. And it makes me wonder, like, eventually when we get to an anime adaptation of this, I hope it keeps these timestamps, whether it be like through an actual narrator saying it or just putting it on screen as is. I just hope it stays. It's a very key part of the identity of this series to me. It just gives every fight like some kind of air of importance. It's hard to explain why exactly it evokes that in me, but it does, and I think it's really cool, and this is no exception. I'm excited. I really want to see how this goes. I think I'm getting more on board with the story that's happening here. It's just fun. It's definitely entertaining me now that we're getting more back into the groove of what Kagurabachi normally is without, the characters that I care about. But, that's neither here nor there, I suppose. I don't need Chihiro or other characters around all the time. I'm fine with this too. Yeah, this is a good chapter. Me and Roboco Chapter 276, Redecorating and Bondo. I like this one. It was a good reoccurring bit. I like the constant, hey, and then, hey, like my intro. And then just seeing whatever abomination of a room he created. It's pretty funny. He just like completely devolves in every panel into something more extreme than the last. And hey, that final messaging really rings home. He says, there's nothing appealing about a room with no jump. Hey. He knows what he's talking about, even though this is a Jump series. So obviously this just reads like an advertisement, as always. But you have to at least admire Miyazaki's genuine love and admiration for the magazine that he's in. It is real, but because of it being in Shonen Jump, it really just feels like, hey, look at how great we are. We're just awesome, You gotta have Jump in your room. Go buy issues of Jump now and put them in your room. What are you thinking? Do it. Be like Bondo. But despite that, that's just kind of a hurdle you have to overcome with Roboco because a lot of chapters end up feeling like ads. But despite that, they still end up being pretty funny. And this is no exception. I thought this was a really funny one. Really good reoccurring bit and through line throughout the whole thing. Ichi the Way, Chapter 77, Gate Crashers. Okay, we got new characters. They're dudes. So that immediately caught my attention. Like, okay, what makes these guys important and special? And I don't exactly have an answer to that quite yet, but they do seem powerful. They use magic tools, which is something we've been kind of slowly exploring throughout the series, starting with Gokuraku. And I expect now that these guys seem to be a major focus of the coming story, this will probably be a larger focus, focusing more in on what exactly do guys do in this world. Granted, these two in particular seem like pretty important guys. What was their title again? It was the Magic Keepers, which could be something we've heard before. I don't really recall ever hearing this term, but I wouldn't be surprised if it had popped up somewhere before. Regardless, they had some really cool action. Well, at least the younger looking one did, the shorter one, I suppose. I don't know if he's younger. But those two swords are pretty cool, and that double page, it's not really a double page spread, it's something akin to it with the really neat paneling of like kind of, sword slashes breaking up the panels. That was pretty cool. I liked that a lot. Also, I'd be remiss to mention the the fake Discaris is pretty funny. I love how upset she gets about it. I love how just upset she is in general throughout this whole chapter. She just starts pissed and she only gets more pissed as the chapter goes on. Yeah, this is a pretty interesting chapter. It's definitely got intrigue and it's got me excited to see what these characters have in store and what kind of relation they have with the already existing characters. Obviously they know who Discaris is, but I don't think Discaris knows who they are, so that's interesting. We'll see. I'm not sure if this is a previously established thing, the Magic Keepers. It does sound familiar, but cannot recall. Either way, good chapter. Excited for more. Blue Box Chapter 237, Guys with Talent. Very Yusa focused chapter, which I think is good because Yusa is obviously being hyped up to be a big deal for this Nationals part of the story. This is like the final boss. So makes sense to finally get him more established. He's been a looming presence throughout the whole thing, but we never really, sat down with the guy and figured out what he's all about. So getting, a little look into his head and hear him talk to somebody is actually pretty good and something that I enjoy seeing. And just having the moment at the end where Taiki, says out loud, "I'm gonna beat you." Just straight up. Love that. I love that even Yusa can smile after that. He's excited about it, at the prospect of somebody beating him. So I'm already kind of able to envision where this is going. But despite that, I think it'll be a good road to get there. I don't expect this to take too terribly long because Blue Box historically doesn't spend too much time on the sports stuff. So Nationals as a whole, it's probably not going to be like some big long drawn out tournament arc. We're probably going to move pretty quickly through this and just cover the important bits. And I'm all for that because even though I am interested to see how Nationals goes, I don't read this for the badminton. I read it for the romance. The badminton stuff's fine and cool, and I like to see Taiki's resolve and just his passion for it. It's very infectious, but still not super interested in it at the end of the day, to be honest. Not that it takes away from the series, it's just not what I'm focused on from it. But yeah, this is a good one. I like to get to learn more about Yusa.
Get this man a gun.
Sakamoto Days Chapter 254, Showdown. Yeah, it's another Sakamoto Days action chapter. Did not disappoint. I think this is the best showcase of Shishiba we have ever seen. His fights a lot of the times are just kind of like, they're cool, They're just nothing to write home about. They never really stand out to me, but this one does. This is a fight I will remember. It's got the classic Sakamoto Days, like cinematic fighting, really cool, quote-unquote shots thrown throughout it, like them on the rooftop, with the cool framing of the window bars, seeing them like fight through it. Yeah, just a really cool like slugfest type fight, ending with Shishiba using a katana, which I thought was pretty damn neat, which I thought was pretty cool looking. Can't complain, it's an action chapter, so there's never a whole lot for me to say, and there's not like a whole lot of thematic stuff going on here. It's just a really cool looking fight. Hell yeah, good chapter. Akane-banashi Chapter 201, A Death to Remember. An absolutely phenomenal chapter. No surprise here. This is something I kind of want to not talk about fully yet, because I do want to see the whole scope of what this performance looks like and what she's going for. We can only kind of guess right now. I have assumptions in my head, but let's actually wait and see what happens. As a standalone chapter though, this was phenomenal. It really feels like, and I mean, these are all things I've said before about Akane-banashi, but it's always just at the forefront of my mind again whenever we actually get to a performance, especially an Akane performance. The way it is drawn and conveyed to us, it is really like we're hearing this story. We are getting the feel that the audience is feeling in that crowd through the paper. And that is the most impressive thing in the world. I just love the visual metaphor. There's the panel of all the eyes looking at her that is so cool. Big, bold proclamations being like half-page spreads or double-page spreads. Always amazing to see. And then this really interesting thing it does near the end of the chapter where it's sort of, this lighthearted approach. Kane's not like fully committing to one side or the other. It's more lighthearted. The audience is laughing. And then the art kind of takes a dip. It changes. Kane's facial expression like drops. The art gets all like, liney and scratchy, not as detailed as the audience's eyes also change. Like they go from laughing to like, whoa, wait a minute. What's going on here? Then boom, that amazing. It's so effective too to go from that really low detail art to immediately a double page spread of the most detailed environment of all time. It's so good. And then also seeing a little glimpse of Akane's interpretation of the god of death. There's a lot to unpack with that. It's this incredibly detailed, like haunting scenery with this goofy little thing in a completely contrasting art style. So interesting. I'm very curious to see how this turns out. Again, I have a lot of guesses, a lot of things floating through my mind, but I want to let this one ride. Let's see where the story takes us. I want to be with the audience on this, like the audience doesn't have time to think about this or theorize. They're listening to this in real time, which is something I wish I could do. I wish I could just binge a whole performance like, as soon as it happens in the story, it just drops all the chapters of it at once. But that's not how manga works. It's weekly manga. You gotta wait. So I'm gonna try my best to just be along for the ride the same way the audience is, to the best of my ability. But nonetheless, an amazing chapter, dude. I love how this was presented so much.
Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of...
Undercover Chapter 11, Groping in the Darkness. So, unfortunately, I feel that I'm going to be stuck in like an endless loop with this series where I really enjoy when it's a doctor series and then I hate when it's an action series. I didn't like this chapter. I'm not into it, dude. I'm just not into the action. I can't get behind it. It's impossible. I try so hard. I try to hear it out, but I just don't care. I can't do it. I'm incapable. And that's really frustrating because I do like this series. It has heart. It's got really cool things that it does when it's a doctor series, but then it moves to action and it's just like, okay, it's an action series. We have like 2 series happening here and I don't like one of them. It literally doesn't feel like the same series. Like, yeah, we're carrying on themes and such from the doctor aspect of it, but I don't really care to see how they're utilized. I want to see it in a doctor context. I don't want them to fight. It's boring. It's not entertaining. It's not even drawn in a cool way or exciting way. It's just basic ass shonen action. And it's just so disappointing. Like, I really have nothing to say about this chapter because of that. It's just, I don't know, this might as well be a Sakamoto Days chapter. And that's fine for Sakamoto Days, because that's the expectation. But here, my expectations are different. And also, by the way, it's really not on Sakamoto Days level art-wise, so there's also that. So I just have nothing to latch onto with stuff like this. Like, there is little glimpses of like, yeah, Ichi is a doctor, that is the case, but he's not doing doctor things that I want him to be doing. Instead, he's just utilizing his doctoring prowess in a fight, which is not exciting. Because it's also not even like, oh, I'm using specific medical knowledge to take down my foe. Like, he does kind of do that sometimes, but more often than not, it's just like, he's like Neji, he's finding pressure points and hitting them. I don't know, man. It's just not exciting to me. It's a shame. I wish the series could be what I want it to be all the time, but it's only like that less than half the time. What are you gonna do? Can't be helped. Maybe some kind of shoe will drop in the future and I'll suddenly start liking the action in the series, but until that day comes, nah, I'm out. Kinato's Magic Chapter 10, Invasion. Is this series losing me? I can't really tell. Like, I don't care about pretty much anything I read this week with this series. I was honestly feeling kind of excited to see like the designs of these captains or whatever these people are, these mage captains. Then I get to it and they all suck, genuinely. Every single one. All of these designs are ass. And then we get like some new villain introductions and they don't really look particularly interesting either. And then we get this random Kinato moment at the end where he's finding some new utilization, boost his own physical abilities. I don't know. If that's what Kinato fights are gonna devolve into, I think that's really boring. Because he had a cool thing going, and now he's just gonna be like strength amplification guy. He's gonna be like Deku, basically. I don't want to see that. I don't really care. There's also, now that I'm thinking about it, it's a very My Hero-esque panel at the end there too. I don't want to see that. I'm not into that. I feel like this series is losing its identity already. It's having a identity crisis on chapter 10. That's not good. I don't know, maybe I'm being too hard on it, but that's my takeaway this week. I didn't care, bro. Nothing here worked for me, personally. I don't know. That's all I got this week. Sorry. That was kind of a rough one. Wasn't feeling it. Shinobi Undercover, Chapter 76, From the Depths of the Earth. A lovely color page here. It just shows that Suzume's popularity has no bounds. Because she's basically like treated as the main character on this color page. Very cute though, I like it. Anyways, not related to that color page at all, we have absolute decimation in this chapter. Yoichi is just tearing it up and it's awesome. Guys, I think Yoichi was the smartest decision this mangaka has ever made. This guy is awesome. I genuinely just love his presence so much that it elevates the series. It really does. He's such a strong presence. I hope this ends up being like main bad guy or something akin to, I don't know, anything. I just hope he sticks around in some capacity. This guy has what it takes to be a main villain, maybe even an ally somehow. I don't know. Convert him. If we can somehow convert this guy to be an ally, I'm down for that too. Whatever he feels like doing with this character, I am all on board for, unless it's like killing him off, because I want him to stick around. I think he's awesome. This guy is so cool. I just really love what he brings to the table with this series. Insanely cool chapter all around. The end bit with Yodaka showing back up is really cool. He's back in that state where his like mind is all focused in on one thing. It's that cool panel at the end where it's all punch, 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 punch in his head. Love that. He's back in his like, it's not like a form exactly, but it's just that like he's locked in, whatever that state of mind is. Awesome chapter. I really had a good time with this one. Alien Headbutt Chapter 9, Conversation. Another awesome chapter. My favorite thing about this series continues to just be the slow trickle of information about the world. Like, every chapter, some shoe drops that gets me thinking about the implications of the whole situation on this island even more. Like, even with the alien talking, saying, "Help me." When that first happened, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? But then Oga threw out his own hypotheses about what is going on there. Like, he's repeating the words that other people said as he was killing them or whatever. But it's still interesting to think, like, maybe he knows the context of those words because he chose to say it here, like at the pretty clear end of his life. Oga's about to kill him, and then he says, "Help me," over and over again. So this alien knows like the concept. Like, they were saying that because they were about to die. So he's repeating it now. It's not like he just constantly has been saying, "Help me," run away through this whole fight. Just because it's like words he knows. He knows when these are supposed to be used, which is pretty interesting, I think. Anyways, he kills it though. And now we get a glimpse at some really cool designs again, with a new, like, presumably villain group. These are like humanoid aliens who actually are capable of full speech. Pretty cool. I'm really digging this still. I just think this series is so rad all across the board. I just love how efficiently the story is told. It feels like masterful, honestly. For how simple this is, it's just so well told. It's very, very impressive. Great chapter.
What are you doing, step bro?
New is Exorcist Chapter 104, Hup, which is a title I don't even understand. I know when that line is said, but I don't know why she said it. I was really confused about that. Anyway, yeah, this went exactly as I thought it would, except Soranaki's alive. I guess I just like got lost somewhere along the way. I thought he died. I thought he like sacrificed himself last chapter. I don't know. Who cares? He sucks. This whole thing sucks. Of course, Gekka's in the harem now. Go figure. Soranaki wants him to marry her. An arranged marriage shit. I don't care. Then this girl, whose name I don't even remember, does her whole confession again. She did that before at Ray. I just saw her name. I happened to see it. I did not remember that. I just looked over and saw it. I don't know. It's just garbage. And now we have 2 new villains being teased. Or is it 1? No, it's 2. There's 2 people there. Please do something interesting. Break everything about Nue. Do it. Please. I need that right now. Break it all down, bro. Come on. Hit me with something good. Yeah, sucked. Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi, Chapter 87, Black Back. Pretty cool chapter. More fighting and more funny bits, which I enjoy. The 2 of these guys just have such funny personalities that it's really entertaining to see them interact. The whole explaining his abilities because he got like too excited, just blurted it out. I think that's hilarious. I love shit like this. I love how this series can just have fun. Seriously, it's so refreshing. And especially, I mean, obviously that's amplified when Kiyoshi's involved because he's just a character he's like that. He's loose. He's serious, but he can be loose because of his fun gimmick. It makes the series unique. But it's still a series that has normal, like, serious fights too, just in the form of the other characters. But I love that it's our main character that gives us this avenue into a different side of the series. And yeah, when it does get serious, really cool action scenes. Looks really sick. Loved it. I'm loving this fight so far. Really, really good stuff. Can't wait to see more of it. No complaints from me. Hima-Ten Chapter 85, Himari Line. This was actually a pretty good chapter. I like this one quite a bit. It's a better conclusion to Kana, I think. Seeing her move on very quickly and, you know, be able to smile and carry on with her life. It's nice. It's good closure. And at the same time, moving forward with Himari in a unique way. I like this text conversation. I've never really seen this in manga before. I'm sure it's happened, but it's cool to see just like the characters doing their own things on the other side of the phone and just showing the text bubbles, like literal text bubbles on screen through their texts. I think that's fun. This was a really cool way to convey a texting conversation. But of course, Iemori is taking this in such a weird way. He's like, oh, this could be it. I'm never going to spend time with Himari again. It's all over. No. Which I just can't comprehend why he's the way he is about this, but whatever. It's drama. It's got to happen. And then this interesting thing with, what is it, Maro? Yeah, Maro the cat, which, by the way, manga has gotten considerably better at drawing cats throughout the course of this. Whenever this cat was first introduced, I remember thinking it was like one of the worst cat drawings I've ever seen in my life, but it looks more like a cat now. Anyways, a bald spot on his neck? Is this, what is this? Is this like, are we setting up like something serious here? Or like, I don't know I don't know what's going on with this. Is it just like supposed to be some funny moment? Like, oh, he's had a bald spot this whole time. I never noticed. Haha, wow. Or is this going to be like, oh my God, the cat has like some horrible fatal disease? It's interesting. That's for sure. We'll see. Pretty good chapter though, overall. I actually quite liked it. Hero Girl and Demon Lord Call It Quits, Chapter 20, The Hero and the Demon Lord and the Night of the End. God, this series with its titles, oh my God. Okay, so unfortunately my camera is like really ungodly low because I don't even know why. I thought I fixed the camera battery problem. Maybe I just need a new battery. I don't know. Anyways, I gotta make this one brief because I want to actually talk about Mage Next Door for an extended period of time, if possible. So I'll save conversation about this one more for next week because I think this is ending. This is definitely giving off ending vibes. Like we're kind of just solving the problem in a really odd and fast-paced way. And it wasn't like last chapter I was feeling like, okay, maybe they're gonna let this series live for a little longer, but no, I think this is gonna get axed just like the rest next week. We'll see though. I guess there will be more to talk about next week and I'll try to fix my camera problem. I don't know what is going on with it. Whatever, sorry, my bad. Mage Next Door, final chapter, The Mage Next Door. Fair enough. Yeah, it's over. I don't know. It wasn't a very strong ending. It was nice just to see him continue doing his thing. It's one of those endings where it's like, yep, save the day, now we're gonna keep going on doing our thing. Which, you know, this isn't like an Axe exclusive type of ending. A lot of normal, like, full-length series end this way as well, so whatever. I'm not really bashing it for that. I actually did kind of end up liking the, you know, when we flash back to the actual finale of the fight. I like the conversation the two of them have. Or it's more, actually, it's kind of like a one-sided conversation. It's just, what's his name? The villain talking to Soegawa. It's interesting, but you know, regardless, Soegawa goes on to just keep doing his thing, not letting other people's words stop him. Ed showed up for the finale. That's nice of him. yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of just left with not a whole lot to say about this chapter in particular. It was okay. There's, I like this page where Osoigo like first uses the like magic aura thing, and mini Magus or Magus looks really funny. Her face is just like a lizard shaped. I enjoy that. And then all that build up, and he just uses a spell that lets him grab balloons. Perfect. I'd have it no other way. That's nice. And then we end off with just, yep, keep going. Do our thing. So, yep, that's the chapter. And as for the series itself, had a lot of potential, man. I really did like this series a lot, at least at first. It did kind of lose me near the end, but what can you do? It's just how it goes. I thought it had a really endearing premise, just this guy who's like mega powerful, but all of his spells are just like weird random like utility spells, and he somehow uses those to fight. That's fun. That is just genuinely such a fun concept, and it was utilized really well up until a certain point, and then just kind of, you know, right near the end it just kind of became like, yeah, whatever, normal ass action series stuff after a certain point. But when it did have its identity, I thought it was really nice. I like both characters, like both our main characters are really fun. And I just think if this had gone on longer, there would have been so many fun things to happen. It would have been a blast. It probably would have opened up its story in a more natural way and led to things happening that felt, again, that same term, more natural, because what we have here is just a really oddly flowing story now that it's a finished product. And yeah, it's not his fault, but it's just frustrating that it didn't have the chance to let itself be what it wanted to be. Regardless of how this series went, I feel that this mangaka will almost without a doubt be able to come back with a hit. I feel like even though I don't really see why this got axed, I don't know like what was wrong with it really up until it got bad, but that when it got bad, and not even really bad, just, you know, not as good as it was, that's when it was told it was getting canceled. So like, of course it's gonna dip in quality. I don't get why, but regardless, I feel like internally lessons were probably learned as to what can be improved and what to do differently. I just hope it's not lessons that I don't really agree with, and makes a less interesting product to me. We'll see. Best of luck, because I really did enjoy this one. It just, you know, kind of crumbled near the end. It's a damn shame. I'm not like as upset as I was about something like Ping Pong Peril on this one, but I do think this series was done dirty. It was the easy best of the three with this batch, and a, you know, on paper, pretty bad batch apparently. And it got thrown out just like the rest. Damn shame. Maybe next time. Alright everybody, that's going to do it for Weekly Shonen Jump 2026, issue number 19. This was a decent issue, not a whole lot of big standouts. It was just kind of, yeah, it was an issue. It was good, it's fine. But as always, one chapter did stand out amongst the rest, and this week my chapter of the week goes to One Piece, chapter 1179, Rona Inu Descends. Pretty impossible to not give it up for this chapter. I thought this was so well done. Amazing reveal, one that I will not soon forget. So I just can't not give it to it. Too perfect. This is going to be a very, very good time to be into One Piece, man. I'm so excited about this. And sorry for, I mean, if you watch the chapter of the week segments, this is a massive spoiler just in title alone. I will not show the big thing on screen right here just to save you some risk, but yeah, that's pretty big. Anyway, next week for issue number 20, we have Natsu no Mushigako taking the cover, which is going to get another title next week, but that's what we know it as now. Looking forward to it. I'm excited to see another new series. Always down. Looking like an interesting batch so far. This first chapter of this new series was but maybe this next one will blow me away. You never know. Yeah, that's all I got to talk about this week. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts on this issue. Let me know your favorite chapter of the week, your least favorite chapter of the week, or anything else you'd like to tell me about from this issue. Remember, you can also become my channel member at 3 tiers. You can click the join button to see what tier works best for you. You get things like early access to new videos, exclusive monthly videos, which will be coming soon for this month, name in the credits, and if you join at the highest tier, you will get your name read out loud right now. So thank you to DJ Tengen, Milu Kitty, Braden Farrell, Halfpipe, Rafker, The Cosmer 64, Cosmic, Key to the Skies, Iliadis, Noobs Rock, and Dan. Thank you all so much for your support, and thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in whatever you decide to watch next. Take it easy, guys.